Hello and welcome everyone. I am Namita Purohit. I'm a leadership and life coach, and I'm here to do a debrief on the US elections 2024, but from a leadership standpoint. No, we're not talking politics here, but we're talking from a leadership standpoint. And we're going to learn many different lessons for execs and for senior managers, for directors, for vice presidents, for senior VPs on how you can hone some of your leadership attributes and strategies based on what we've just witnessed in the massive historical US elections 2024. I'm going to be doing a series, and today, first in the series, we're going to talk about 5 ways in which Donald Trump was able to earn the voter confidence versus Kamala Harris, who had 3 times the money at her disposal, who their election spending, the total election spending was at $15 billion around, and at Kamala Harris's disposal, and the amount they spent was around 12 billion, while Donald Trump they were able to spend about 4 billion. And in spite of such massive spending, how was Donald Trump able to paint the country red? Where he got the popular vote, he got the electoral college votes. They swept the Senate and they got the House, right? So how was he able to do that? What are the 5 things there? And what are those, leadership lessons that we can get from it? And you don't have to pick all of them. Pick the ones that you like. But I think there's a lot. There's a lot going on over there, and I felt the need to come and show up and do this. I don't often talk on politics and these topics, but I just thought there was so much to learn there, and I should show up. So the first thing is executive presence. Yes. Now, what is executive presence for leaders? Executive presence is how leaders present themselves, and it's not just an external thing. It's backed by how solid they are inside. It's backed by the depth of knowledge they have about their subject, the depth of experience they have about the work that needs to be done, the depth of experience about how work needs to be done, and how they can draw from all of that, and and then they show up to work. And all of those things is what contributes to a leadership, a leader's executive presence. It's not just about what suit they're wearing or how great their hair is, etc. Yeah, all that is styling. Part of it's needed. A little bit is needed around executive presence. You don't want your clothes to be distracting. You want them to be smooth. You want all of that to happen, but you can have all of that and have none of the experience, none of the depth, none of the subject matter expertise, none of the confidence, none of been there, done that. You don't have all of that. So when you present yourself without all of those attributes, people don't feel confident around you. With Donald Trump, he positioned himself as the CEO of America, a successful businessman who has, accomplished great success across the world with various businesses that he and his family, runs with his family. He has been the president of the United States, and some people have great memories around that, and a lot of successes in his presidency also, which I'll talk about. So when they see him, or when people see him, they're seeing somebody who can be presidential, who can be the CEO of America with all that vast business expertise. He's a leader who's capable of making big decisions. He's a leader who knows how to spend money. He's a leader who knows how money needs to be made. He's a leader who knows how people need to be taken care of for the country to grow, and that's what he's exuding over there. And I know a lot of people may not agree with a lot of things he says, and that's not the point I'm trying to make here. I'm trying to make the point of executive presence. And if you compare him with Kamala Harris, she had like that schoolgirl, like I mean, many times if you watched her videos, I wasn't sure, like, which archetype and like which identity is she trying to project. Is it like of that of a shy schoolgirl, or is she like of this like go leader? Like, I didn't find a lot of consistency in her thing, and especially that chuckle. The chuckle didn't lend her a lot of executive presence, where she laughed at everything that was put out to her, and she smiled, and yeah, looked good, but it didn't make a voter feel very confident about her. Plus, she didn't come with the backing of a wealth of experience, and a lot of contradicting herself on various issues, saying different things in different places, and we're going to cover all of that as we progress. But yes, there was not enough that was happening in her executive presence that was allowing people to feel confident about her and to trust her with um, with their vote. And now, what are some of the lessons that we as leaders can learn from this? Is how can you command the room with depth? Yes. Now, you want to build your executive presence, and that comes with mastery in your domain. Trump had mastery in his domain, and his domain was huge, proven as well as a president of the United States. One of the great things, legacies he came with, was there were no wars. And he got the Arabs and the Jews to become friends with each other at some point. Yes. And we're going to talk about that too. And he had there was a proven track record, at least in business, that made people feel confident about him. Like, yeah, yeah, he knows what to do. He's way ahead of us. He's been a successful, he knows what to do. Compare with Kamala Harris, no comparison there, right? And very clear and direct communication. And that's what you want to cultivate: mastery in your domain, develop a proven track record, and clear and direct communication. And this reassures your team that they can trust you, that this person is really an executive that I can trust. Yes, and it strengthens loyalty. People are looking to be led. And when someone shows up as a leader, not just by all the external branding, but with all of these things that I talked about, people are willing to trust and willing to give you their vote. Yes. Now, another thing that Trump did was a very strong stance on many controversial issues. One thing was he was completely against unnecessary wars. And he was like, yeah, when I come, I'm going to shut down all these wars. I'm going to get everyone to become happy and learn how to talk to each other and stop doing those wars. We don't want any more wars in this world. Yes, a very tough stance on that. He wanted to, very tough stance on redirecting money from the wars to the homeless in the US. On the other hand, Kamala Harris had no clear policy, right? And along with their coterie, the Democratic Party and the presidentship under President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, they were known for warmongering. They were known to get stable democracies get unstable, overthrowing the leaders of those states and doing all kinds of things. Uh, and the worst, like one of the worst things that she did, and during her president, like vice presidentship, was that during the Carolina Helene hurricane, they were giving, the response was bad, not timely. Private sector had to get involved. Like the people had to get involved to provide supplies and take care of all the people who were affected by the hurricane. The response of the government was very slow. The second thing that happened is that they announced, around the same time, they announced an aid of $750 per family or per person in North Carolina. And at the same time, they announced an aid of $2.4 billion to Ukraine. Now imagine, why would a voter be confident of this leader? That, hey, my interests don't matter, and you're sending money to another country, and for what? For war? And it's not just that people in North Carolina were watching and decided to vote accordingly. The entire country was watching, and they didn't know what to do. They were being gaslighted all this time, that there is no inflation, there is no so many things, but they spoke up and they took action when they could, right? And now with Trump, you can look at the results of his strong stances. There were no wars during his term. Now, as soon as Trump has been declared as the winner, Putin is ready to chat with Trump. He's like, yeah, I'm going to chat with the manly Trump to end the Ukraine war. I'm happy to do that. Qatar, within 48 hours of Trump winning the presidency, Qatar has announced that they don't want to have. They're going to deport all these Hamas people who are living over there. They're going to ask them to leave, and they've been trying to do that for a very long time. And now that's the final decision that's out. Uh, the stock market's at a all-time high. And that's all because of the certainty that he is exuding, because of the strong stance. So when there's a strong stance, the leader comes across as very certain, and certainty makes people confident and makes people want to invest their vote in you. Yes. And in the past, you've seen that in October of 2020, President Trump was able to broker a historic peace agreement between Israel and Sudan. Unheard of. These are unheard of things. So, as you, as a leader, you want to stand firm and lead. People don't want a people pleasing leader who's just saying things that we want to hear. That's what a lot of Kamala Harris was doing, and we're coming to that. They want a leader who's unafraid of doing what the right thing is, who's unafraid to take a strong stand on things. And that's what inspires confidence, who understands and addresses the clear present danger effectively: wars, inflation, poverty, um, gender stuff. There's so many things going on. And like Donald Trump had clear policy stances on each of these things, right? And they want a leader who exudes that confidence, who has a clear stance, who's unafraid to be not popular. That is the leader people trust during crisis management, during change management. They know that this leader can do it effectively. So, in your life, that's what you're going to do. Now, there is also clear policy and communication. Very clear policy, very simple to remember: MAGA, MAHA, Dogi, right? MAGA is Make America Great Again. Very easy on the tongue, and he's explained what that means in various speeches of his. It's clearly against illegal immigration, and we'll get to that as well. MAHA is Make America Healthy Again, and he has the right person over there with RFK Jr., Bobby Kennedy, being with him as a part of his campaign and supporting him. This is like a lifelong Democrat, dynasty Democrat who switched Republican because he's tired of the swamp in the Democratic Party, moving here, and he's ready to contribute and make America healthy again. And then Department of Government Efficiency with Elon Musk, right? Make the government more efficient, make it cost effective, make it efficient, make it fast, make it act and like serve for people's interests. And tariffs on trade to serve US interests. And these are things that people understand and people want to do. Whereas on Kamala's campaign, she was talking about some social issues. Again, not a lot of clarity on that. She also, in terms of war and in terms of which side she was on, like in pockets where there was great Jewish voters, they were being shown ads of how Kamala Harris is pro-Israel. Those videos were being circulated as ads on social media. And in pockets where there were more Palestinians in the US, they were being shown ads on how Kamala supports the Palestinian occupation of the Gaza, and like she's all there for them, etc. And like it's completely contradictory. No clarity, no stance, people pleasing going on. uh, People are not confident about you when you do that. She lost, right? And she contradicted herself on illegal immigration, the border wall. And every time like you asked her a lot more questions, she would just cackle it off. And a lot of censoring of free speech through social media, that was like a lot that was coming out from the Democratic side of things, and people don't want to be censored, right? It's really sad that they had their head in the earth, that they couldn't see that Twitter was becoming and has become the top source of news and the top source of like public discourse and top town hall for the world. And you can't censor. And if you censor and people lose their right to free speech, it's going to backfire. But they weren't getting that. They were too stuck in their agenda that they weren't understanding, and they were losing connection with people. Now, as you see here, as a leader, you want to lead with very clear and very decisive policies. You want to keep your vision. You want to be able to communicate in a very simple way, a clear message that empowers teams and ensures alignments with your goals. And if you have to make some slogans like that, if you have to make some code words like that, do it, because that's what gets the vibe going. That's what gets people together. When they can chant and they can repeat what you're saying because it's so simple, that's when they feel connected with you. And that's what was happening with Donald Trump. And they also see that a person with clear and decisive policies is going to take all of us ahead. And if there ever is a crisis, you know we are going to be able to get proper communication from this leader. And one of the hallmarks of a great leader is effective crisis management is effective communication, clear communication. And that's what they're looking. So with all this crisis of the war and the inflation and so many things going on, Trump was able to communicate very clearly in this crisis about his plan and make it relatable in very simple terms to every American out there. uh, Again, this is all part of my work that we do at the Leadership Lead with Ease Academy that I run. And I invite you to consider joining that to boost your leadership and to enable your leadership. This podcast is sponsored by the Lead with Ease Academy, and you will learn how to master your leadership with a very simple three-step process, which is personal growth, relational growth, and organizational growth. So it's a three-step PRO method, pro method that we teach along with coaches, courses, and community. And I welcome you to consider that. Now let's get into the fourth point here. Trump's connect with people versus Kamala Harris's connect with people. Trump connected with people on their struggles with inflation, right? Imagine like a 20, 22-year old, 24-year-old out of college, done like worked for a few years and just can't afford a home, right? They can't afford to leave their parents' home, and they just don't know. And they're like, I don't know how my parents did it. Everything is so expensive. Grocery bills are running high for a family of four. Yes, housing affordability, jobs, and all these gender surgeries that are happening around, right? Boys and women's sports, and so on. And he was able to speak about these issues that were affecting people and tell them that he had a solution and articulate that solution. So his connect, his understanding, in spite of being such a rich man, his connect with people was so good. He wasn't sitting in his his glass house and disconnected with people. He knew exactly what the sufferings were, and he was speaking to that. He was speaking to their pain points, and he was presenting the solution for that. And people trusted him that yes, if he comes in, he's going to do something about it, because this lady, who is in the government right now, is gaslighting us about inflation. Like, no, 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 there's not much inflation. Look at these figures and look at that figures. But yeah, but look at my credit card bill every month. What I'm spending at Costco, what I'm spending at Walmart, what I'm spending to get groceries for my children. Yes, they were being gaslighted about housing prices. They were being gaslighted about interest rates. They were being gaslighted about everything. Like, no, no, there's no real problem. There's no real problem. People were getting dismissed. There's no real problem if men are competing in women's sports, if they're sharing locker rooms with the girls and all. Oh, there's no real problem. There's no real problem there. And then when they could take action, people took action. Kamala Harris had no clear policies around these things. She was leading with abortion. She was leading with equal rights. She was leading with abortions, and her focus was very disconnected from the daily economic struggles that people were having. Yes, like one of the things that became really famous is at the end of one of the debates, he kind of closes his debates with, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. He's talking about illegal immigrants. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there, right? Very simple statement. Yes, but it's hitting home. That's what people are struggling with in that district of Springfield, where there were so many Haitians who, for whom catching the cats and the dogs and eating them as food was normal things. And but it was very petrifying for an American for whom the pet was a part of the family. And people thought they could make fun of the statement, and a lot of strategists and a lot of pundits were like, "Oh, why did Trump say that? Come on, it's so disconnected. Like, he doesn't seem presidential when he talks like that." Well, he was completely presidential when he was talking like that, because it connected with the people. The Democrats, like one of the Democratic Party followers, voters, he made like a rap song by taking this part of his speech. He made a rap song out of it, trying to make fun of Trump. I think that went to 12 million views. And then he later realized that it was actually people were appreciating what he said, and it was making Trump more popular and endearing in the eyes of people versus the negative effect that they were trying to create with that. And he had to take it down. Yeah, so that's clear communication. So knowing what really matters to people, that's what Trump was connecting with, expressing it, and he was aware of the struggles. And if you even saw him in all those places where he's meeting different people, and families are connecting with him, etc., during his campaign tour, you find a very personable man, leader, who's like very connected to the achievements of what everyone's sharing with him, the struggles they're going through, and like talking to them, like just like a family elder would be talking to them, right? So as a leader, you want to know what really matters to your people. You want to understand what matters the most to those who you serve. Say if you're trying to make this huge change in your organization, and there's a lot of protest coming in, instead of just dismissing them, truly understanding what they're saying. and developing solutions around their concerns and what they're saying. So it helps build meaningful connection, and it helps strengthen loyalty. Another thing, like the fifth point of our discussion today, the last point here is he had resonant endorsements from people, and there was a lot of authenticity and visibility in his work. So let's look at a little bit of the authenticity and the visibility element of it first, right? He could come on a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast and talk unscripted. And that's a big thing. Like anyone who's in marketing knows that long form content is what works, because that gives you a lot of time to connect with the viewers and to help develop something which is called as like, know, and trust. So people are able to know you more, they're able to like you, then they're able to know you more by watching you and like seeing what you're saying, and then finally trust you. Coming for 3 hours unscripted, talking freely, you can't fake it. You can fake it for like 10 minutes and 15 minutes and 20 minutes, maybe an hour, but you can't go on faking it for 3 hours unscripted. Whereas Kamala Harris always looked like she was in a hurry. She looked like she was in a hurry. She looked like she wanted to get done with whatever speech she was in, and like, oh, I don't have the notes. And many times you saw that the when the teleprompter would stop functioning, like she would have like a brain hang, couldn't communicate, and all of these things, don't inspire voter confidence. And Kamala Harris refused to come on, like, she had the invitation too to come on the Joe Rogan podcast and talk freely with him, but she completely refused to do that because she can't handle unscripted interviews. She needs an entire team to tell her what to say because she doesn't know what she's doing. And many times you would see that when the teleprompter would malfunction, she would be like not knowing what to speak at that time. Like she had no talking points. She was just being fed, she was being propped up, and she was putting there, and people can see through it after some time. Next is also, there are no iconic images from Kamala Harris's campaign, but here you see and that this is what people connect with, and this is what like exudes leadership. Also is that he's serving at McDonald's, right? And there are videos and there are reels circulating about seeing this very personable human being, who's doing all of these different things and talking so freely, connecting so well with everyone over there. And here you have like such beautiful pictures of him waving out and things like that, which help people with like an average person connect with their president, right? That wow, this is my leader. And then towards the end of the, like closer to the election, closer to November 5th, you have Joe Biden saying that all these Trump supporters are garbage. Yes. And then he uses this opportunity to actually drive a garbage truck and pick up garbage, and he and like some other members of his team. And then you have these iconic pictures of Trump in that garbage dress, in that like a special vest that he's wearing, riding the garbage truck. And then he comes directly to one of his place, where he has to give a speech. He comes there, and then like he wants, that like he's trying to wear his suit, and like his people are saying, no, you need to wear this vest. But and like it gives him a talking point to again talk about that, hey, you're not garbage, I really respect all of you over here, and we're going to make America great again. The message is all about MAGA. It's all about people, and people who are tired of 4 years of the democratic rule and being gaslighted about all the problems that they're having. Yeah, they did what they could, and they came out and they just did it. And you had so many voters come out and like plan and actually come out and give their vote. And as I said, resonant endorsements. So Trump had, while Kamala may have her billions, and she had, out of the 83 billionaires who were supporting um, this whole campaign, I think like Kamala had like two-thirds of it. Two-thirds of the billionaires were supporting her. So she had money. She had a lot of power uh, going on over there. But here, Trump had resonant endorsements. He had an Elon Musk actually making it his personal business to protect free speech. He's bought Twitter for billions of dollars to protect free speech and make it like an open town hall because of what he saw in the last election. And he's here and he's serving alongside President Trump. He got Joe Rogan's endorsement too. Bobby Kennedy moves from the Democratic Party over here. Vivek Ramaswamy, another very, very intelligent businessman, of course, he was in the races and then he stepped out, but he got more enhanced, as Tucker Carlson said, after he stepped out of the race. And he didn't get forgotten, but he actually, his stature, his persona, and everything got more enhanced after he stepped out. And then, of course, JD Vance as a VP pick was fantastic. And Tulsi Gabbard, another uh, Democrat, moved over towards the Republican side. And, like, she endorsed Donald Trump because they were all sick of what's happening. So Trump had resonant endorsements. And when people saw all these people around Trump, it again gave them confidence. And that's what inspired them to vote for him. Whereas on the other hand, Kamala Harris had a lot of celebrity endorsements. She had a lot of billionaire endorsements. She had even had Bill Gates, etc. But they were not actively participating in the campaign with her, right? But here with Trump, you could see all of these people actively involved with his campaign. And she had all of these different celebrity, and I don't know what the name of this celebrity is, but she was literally twerking on the stage, on the campaign stage, right? And then she had Oprah, she had Jennifer Lopez, she had all of these really, and it probably created a buzz for her, but it did not create any transformation of, like, in the voters' mindset about, yeah, Trump has Oprah, I'm going to vote, like, sorry, Kamala has Oprah, so I'm going to go and vote for her. That didn't happen for people. That won't happen, right? And if you compare these people with the ones who were with Trump, supporting him and being in the ring with him and doing things together with him, um, you know, there was a massive difference right out there, right? So you, as a leader, you want to boost your credibility and show up authentically by making strategic alliances with respected figures, right? It's not just the billions, capital alone is not your asset. Who are you connected with, and how much are they with you in the trenches, and how much are they willing to do with you, is what's giving you the support and giving you the credibility. So you're partnering with influential and aligned supporters, right? It amplifies your message and authority. Kamala getting celebrity endorsements like these does not endorse her presidential authority. Even if these people may be big influencers and have a lot of followers who would see this picture and, like, they may get inspired to vote, but no, not so much. People, you have to speak, to the real issues that people are facing. And again, I invite you to join the Lead with Ease Academy if you're looking for a stepwise progression plan in your leadership and to grow from wherever you are to the next level in your leadership in an inside out manner. And in summary, Trump's message resonated with majority of Americans. Trump's journey was a hero's journey, right? He went through hell and he came back. He was shot. He was so many cases on him, and so many things happening. But he came all of that out and he came up. And that's a hero's journey that everyone wants to be part of, right? And a lot of that also then creates that, oh, they troubled this man so much, I'm going to go and vote for him. He's the right man. These guys are wrong. That emotion happens too. He won the popular vote by a huge margin, and then they felt at peace that he would bring back those American patriotic values again. It wasn't about the individual here. It was about bringing back America, making America great again, and that's what people voted for. So thank you very much for being here with me so far, and as I said, I'm doing a series. So you can see the next video linked somewhere here. It's going to show up. The next video in the series, I'm going to talk about why America hasn't yet been able to have, a woman leader, like a woman president. What is the problem there versus the subcontinent? You have India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan. They've had, like, women leaders from, like, decades ago, right? So I'm going to talk about that, and then many more videos follow. And for those of you who are interested in joining the Lead with Ease Academy, you can connect with us at, the links are in the description below, and I look forward to serving you over there, and of course on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications so that you can get the update of when the next video gets uploaded in this series. A debrief of election 2024 from a leadership standpoint. Yes, looking forward to seeing you soon again, and bye bye.